The example of social inequality that I will be talking about today occurred my junior year of high school. I witnessed an example of social inequality and didn't do anything to stop it. During that time, I had a large group of girlfriends and we all hung out together. One night, we went to a party at one of our guy friends' houses. At the party, one of our girlfriends slept with one of the boys. A few of my other girlfriends got really mad at her and started calling her names like slut and whore. Later that night, 3 of my friends found her and sat her down. They talked to her for over an hour about how her behavior was slutty and wrong. They told her that this gave her a bad image and that everyone was going to think that she was easy now. I saw them talking to her and giving her a hard time, however I didn't do anything to stop it. I've always thought that it doesn't matter who anyone sleeps with and that it's completely their decision. However, I didn't stand up for her because then I'd be going against what the rest of the group thought. It was much easier to just agree with them and keep my mouth shut. What I found surprising, though, was that no one cared in the slightest about the guy sleeping around. They only cared that the girl was doing it. No one looked down on him and his decision to sleep around because he's a boy. Boys aren't looked down upon for this. In fact, they are praised for it. This is an example of social inequality because it's an issue rather than a personal trouble. This is an issue because it doesn't just happen to one girl. Many girls in society have their sexual actions looked down upon compared to men's. One way that this shows social inequality is through gender polarization. Within gender polarization, there are culturally conceived notions regarding sex-appropriate behaviors. The fact that my friend, who is a female, is looked down upon for sleeping around is a culturally conceived notion about her sex-appropriate behavior. On the other hand, the fact that men are praised for sleeping around, and the reason that the guy at the party wasn't getting any trouble for his actions, is because this behavior is viewed appropriate for men. Gender polarization results in social inequality because women are viewed negatively for their actions, and men are viewed positively, and this is when performing the same act. It isn't fair that my friend was getting a hard time for her actions and no one cared that the guy did it. They both perform the same sexual act, but because she's female and he's male, means that she gets consequences for her actions and he gets praised for it, and this is completely unfair and unjust. Another way that this is an example of social inequality is through socialization. Within socialization, gender expectations are learned and imposed. Once a child is labeled male or female, they are treated as such. In society, men are expected to be dominant and masculine, which in turn makes them popular for sleeping around. No one cared about the guy at the party slept around because this is just part of his expectation of being a man. On the other hand, society's expectation for girls is to be proper, which causes them to be harshly judged for sleeping around. My friend was called names like slut and whore from some of her closest friends because she broke society's expectations for her. The differing gender expectations are put in place by socialization, which result in clear inequalities between males and females. It isn't fair that just because society says that men are supposed to be dominant and women are supposed to be proper, that they should be treated differently for their actions. Our friend was clearly treated poorly because of her actions and the fact that she's a girl, and the guy received no repercussions because he's a man. With these examples of social inequality seen, there's a reason that they're put in place. These are sociological mechanisms that maintain or normalize inequality. One sociological mechanism is the agents of socialization. These include significant people, groups, and institutions that shape one's gender identity. The fact that my friends got angry at one of the other girls for sleeping around shows how peers maintain inequality. By getting mad at her and telling her that what she did was wrong, maintains the inequality that women can't sleep around the way that men can. Another mechanism is social control. As part of social control, people use positive or negative sanctions to show approval or disapproval of a behavior. My friends showed negative sanctions because of my friends' non-compliance to their norms. This example of social inequality also shows the relationship between structure and agency. The structure are the rules that girls can't sleep around the way that guys can. My friend had agency because she thought for herself and decided that she did want to do this. The relationship between the two is that structure impedes on agency. Although my friend had agency to make her own decisions, the structure of society makes some of those choices looked at as right or wrong. So although people have free will, structure will view some of those actions as wrong, resulting in negative repercussions and impeding on their free will. With all this being said, I greatly regret not standing up for my friend that day. I could have told the other girls that this doesn't make her a bad person, and that if we didn't get mad at the guy, why should we get mad at the girl?